right, they call this the haunted house. We're just down the road from Jimmy Carter's childhood home, which is just down there in the cemetery where you see that car turning in. So this house, I don't know why they call it the haunted house. It says on the guide, it says many tales of hauntings and ghosts are still told by locals. Well, it looks abandoned, so that might be why it looks haunted. But this is an important house because this is where Jimmy Carter and Rosalynn Carter, they rented this home from 1955 to 1961. Remember, he came home from his naval career when his father died in 53. So he and Rosalynn, they lived in government housing in the town, and we'll show you that. But they lived here from 55 to 61 until their house was ready, because they had that built, so the house where they still are now. So they rented this house for a while. I'll just kind of zoom in there. Looks pretty. You can kind of go through the metal fencing. Looks like a nice house. So this is where they lived when he came back from his naval career, and until 6 years they were here, until he could they purchased that land until he could get his house ready, because they had that built just for them, the house where Jimmy Carter is still today. But this was where they lived for 6 years. Looks like a nice house. Looks like it's maybe falling into a bit of disrepair. But it's not far from the town, and it's not far from his childhood home. Everything is close by here. More look at that house where they rented from 55 to 61. Looks pretty. It looks like there's some kind of structure falling apart down there. All right, we're on the road going back to Plains, and you can see what it looks like, what Jimmy Carter's house looks like from the road, and it's right there. Right there. So you can see it's kind of, he's kind of on a somewhat busy street. And these are his neighbors. Just average, normal people's kind of houses here. That's a small house. And now we're going to look to see where he lived in 1953 when he came back to Plains after his naval career. And it was right in this development here, which was government housing back then, and I think it's still government housing. Yeah, it's right here. We're just going to pull up. And they have a historical plaque right there. So Jimmy and Rosalynn lived there for a couple years, and then after that they moved to that haunted house along the road.